Hello, everyone. Welcome to IFFR Afterthoughts. I hope you enjoyed the screening of the film Gritt. My name is Annina Wettstein. I'm the programmer for Scandinavia and the German-speaking territories. It's my huge pleasure. I'm joined by Itonje Søimer Guttormsen, writer and director of Gritt from Norway. The film is selected to the Tiger competition. And so a very warm welcome to you, Itonje.
Thank you. And thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here too. It's a very special way to connect, but we do, and I'm looking forward to our talk. So Gritt is your feature debut. And actually, you're back to Rotterdam because you showed already a short film here in 2017, which was called Retract. So good to have you back even more. And to begin our conversation, I'd like you to tell us from where you are calling in and what your film is all about.
Yes, so I'm here in Oslo, Norway, and very happy to be here. And now you watch this 2-hour-long journey of quite an unconventional Norwegian woman who has a very strong calling to make the world a better place, maybe. But yeah, gets a lot of resistance on that, and yeah, we've seen her journey where she meets all these encounters, which leads her in a crisis, which again probably maybe leads into some kind of salvation.
Yeah, maybe I think it's a good place to start just with your protagonist Gritt, which she has an amazing journey to go during the film. So the hero's journey, and I would like to start with the character Gritt. So as I mentioned, you already made a short, and this film was as well about Gritt. So it was like a prologue, maybe, or a first chapter of her life. So, can you talk a little bit about what brought you to this character of Gritt?
Yeah, she came actually already in 2007 when I was in film school in Norway and in Lillehammer, the Olympic city. And it's very like this. And we were in the bottom, and I felt very choked also, but very like classical way of film production. So it was this kind of pubertal aggression, which kind of made me want to break out in a way. And then, so all my female characters or all my projects were about women who like would walk from Norway to Denmark, or they would kind of break out. And so this kind of like not being comfortable in your like environment or identity, or want to break free in a way and have more space to roam and discover. That was kind of the core, and I had this idea of a feature trilogy, grandiosely enough, then in 2009, and where this woman character was going through this kind of radicalization process in the service of art. And Gritt comes from a not so typical Norwegian background. She's been in a charismatic Christian society, and then she was torn out from a divorce. So she has this rootlessness, homelessness, but also passion and sincerity, I think, from like birth or from early on. And this is also maybe a bit untypical in Norway, where everything is going to be like strive to be cozy and normal. And so she's kind of whatever she does, she crux with the norms. And I found that very interesting to play with, and also because she's strong and determined, but she's also very vulnerable. And this doubleness, I think, can also say a lot about society, because how people respond to her.
It's very interesting to hear about her like background you tell, which is kind of more mentioned by passing in the film, but we get to know that she has a certain background of the family. Parents are living far away, or she does not have even contact. So how did you develop her, like during the writing, and how at what point came the actress Birgitte Larsen to at what point was she involved?
We met, she did a role, she played like a hearing disabled woman in my film school film, in 2007, where she stole her kid sister's identity to get laid. So she was already this kind of monomanic character, and she did that brilliantly. And then we met again in 2009, and we were both out of long relationships. Something like kind of clicked. We were very open at that point, and we decided to start a collaboration. So we've been working together since 2009 in different experiments. Like we went to New York and did a semi-documentary, but this character always emerged in any, like always became just more and more distinct. And then in 2016 with Gritt, with Wettstein, which was here, she became Gritt, Jeanette. And then after that, people were like, oh, what's happening more? Everyone was kind of asking for her further life. And so it felt very right and potent to work with. And then also now we're thinking ahead. We want to see her maybe till she's old. So maybe there are many projects ahead.
So it's an ongoing project, I see. And you are very like close to Gritt, I guess, as the way you mentioned that you were in New York too. So is this what is she for you? Is she kind of an alter ego? I think that would be most obvious.
Yeah, she's definitely more of a third character, like because both Birgitte and I, like she's something in between us. She's not autobiographical, like with background and anything like this, and actual life events, but then still, at least she's probably closer to me than to Birgitte, especially in the way she kind of conducts her life and is being possessed and don't really manage to take care of the practical life, or not so. Yeah, she's. But then again, it's very playful because. I feel like her core and soul and personality, it's something of its own. And I feel like I know her weaknesses, or we both know her weaknesses, like a bit lack of social skills, and she's maybe a bit too impatient and all this, but also her potential, I think. And so I feel I see this arc of her life. And then the actual events could be like stuff that I just experienced, or that I just heard of, or that I just make up. But so those are not so. I'm very free when I work with her. And then Birgitte, when she comes with her extremely, I mean, she's so talented, and she's so she just go into any situation. Like I was the one in New York, I was the one going to this fitness witch. I would have those tarot cards, but then later she would do it, and it will be totally different because Gritt is not me. She doesn't respond like me. So it's but it's a very free mixture, and I have no mixture. I have no like need for it to be true to anything real in a way.
Yeah. This is a very fascinating approach, and that the duration that it will go on and on. And I think as well the fact that you're working with would you say real persons, or the person that play themselves, like the director of the Living Theatre, or Marte. How was this collaboration built up?
For example, with Guttormsen Theater in Oslo, this director, I've been admiring him since I was like 18, and I was also very like occupied about art, and so for me it was really scary to go to him and say, you want to be in my movie? Your next play is going to be about this and that and that. But he, for some reason, trusted me, and then we went into that. So he so generously shared his whole yeah, his craft, his crew theater, and opened up to that because he could identify with Gritt. He could really like sympathize with her story. And then when Birgitte, we sent her off to a workshop with him just to get to know him. And then so yeah, and then later we just went and we shot and we just threw her in. So the, for example, a theater rehearsal, when he's giving director's note after the that's for real, and she's like so then we're just there and we're shooting that, but of course he knows that we are there. And but so in all the way I make film, when I do it like this, like partially manipulating and but also creating space, I have tons of material for editing, of course. But that's the most exciting part, because then that's where the fun starts in the edit. Yeah.
I would definitely love to explore this a little bit more, this how you work, because it's a very unique approach you have. So first of all in the writing, and then you go for the shooting must be like, as you said, it's very with a lot of improvisation maybe. Or can you talk a little bit about the shift between the script and then when you go shooting, and how much is it open for improvisation?
Many things in the script is written, like, for example, with the people in that she met in New York. They're like the fitness witch and the living theater. I would go and I would get to know them, and then I would write the script from after what they kind of told me. So it would always be like first their word, but then again you have scenes like when she goes to her childhood friends in this suburbia. This is a totally written scene in a way, but still there it's very open to improvisation. So if I have professional actors and there is a scene, we do explore it in the sense that I mean they have probably read the script at some point, and then Birgitte has also. But when we come to set, or have a rehearsal, I just outline the scenario, and Birgitte knows where she's going and what her trouble is, and then I just set them off, and then they improvise for up to an hour maybe, and then we break it down, and but yeah, so there's a lot of material, but very often the final film is quite similar to the starting script actually, but I would never, but I don't like make the scenes there and then and there. The scenes are not created on set; they are played out real life, and so maybe the emotions I said to be there in the script, they come at a different place when they play it out. So, but in the edit, I find the story again in a way. Yeah.
And then we have as well like this important layer of the voiceover.
Yeah.
Which is based on a text, but can you talk a little bit about the text?
Yes. I tried to write the voiceover myself, because that was a crucial part from the first short film, that I wanted to make this distance. I wanted to really make a big gap between what was going on in the world and in life and in her inner world, because she has a very rich inner life, and her philosophy and the way she observes, and it's always going on. That's her closest relationship with something in a way. And I find that it's so rare that I see films where like what your relationship to your thoughts is a thing. It's always the relationship with people. But I didn't manage to write it well, and it was always too pretentious. But then Birgitte, she went to writing school, and she met this dancer, like really Grittis type of person, very free and very poetic, and she had written this text. So Gritt or Birgitte mixes up, said to me that, oh, it's like listening to you. You have a lot in common. And then I read this and I was like, yeah, but there it is. It's perfect, because it was so much easier then to use it and to get the distance, so that it could be humorous also, and so that you wouldn't be I mean, it's also pretentious, but I feel, at least I hope, that it balances right.
Mm-hmm. To what term is it, like from your point of view, a criticism to a society? Like, first of all, in Norway, you mentioned already that Gritt comes from a special background, which is not so usual, and there's a lot of criticism towards the capitalism or patriarchy. So, what is your position, or maybe, yeah, what you want to tell with the film, and yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's I mean, I definitely have a mission with it, and I think it is to give people space and to move and to find out who they are and to be able to work for that. I want to kind of enlighten how we watches what is an acceptable profession, what is an exception, accepted way of conducting your life. And in Norway, at least, normality is very present. You're very suspicious if you are a woman and you're not searching for a family, or if you're not don't want a steady job, and a lot of people cannot have a steady job and needs to move differently. And I think from early on, from school, we are put into these categories about how to behave and be, instead of listening to what lives within us. And I think we have so different rhythms and we have so different sensitivities. And if we kind of listen more to that, people would be able to have much healthier life. And I think we would have much less psychiatry, madness, or and drugs. And I mean, I think that this is also how I make my films, because I have this manifest of Lilithistic film production, which is dated to Lilith, Adam's first wife, who fled Eden because she was felt trapped and narrowed down and went into the unknown. And so I have kind of followed her. I have been very interested in what is this uneasiness, what is this rebelliousness, what is this need to expand and explore. First in the female, that this is not so typical female. So for me, she became a guiding lighting star. guide, yeah. And then I created this method of making films where I kind of put Eden together with classical film production, and that I needed to break out to explore and to find a way where I could, for example, I have sleeping problems and then I can't shoot every day. I have to have some days to rest and to think and integrate. And so I kind of build a whole production around these issues, and that I need to go to a convent and edit alone for 3 weeks at a time. And it's in Norway, it's typically seen as being eccentric or weird or demanding, or if you have these needs in a way. And so, but I want to salute that these neuroses or disabilities we have, Down syndrome. I mean, this is all things we should take more into consideration. How can we use this in a good way?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
So larger space for humans to unfold.
So needless to say that Lilith is as well a very important character kind of in your work, you as well in other projects I guess you made, and the topic of manifesto is very interesting to follow. And maybe just to wrap it up, because time's running so fast, maybe you can put it in a nutshell, that the way that, or the wandering, the odyssey that Gritt is passing is very connected to the camera work with this, which is as well like a nervous breakdown. So just to round it up, can you talk in a few words maybe about the work of the cinematography, the concept?
Yeah, very short. The concept of cinematography and sound was to follow the nerve system, to emphasize the nerve system and to create the mental, the crisis in the visual audio language, not an emphasis the emotions in the scenes or this and that, but just to have this force, to use these tools as forces to like and go out in the woods. Yeah. So that's that was a vision.
Thank you so much. That was we could talk much longer about it, of course, and I think yeah, that we are definitely looking forward what's going to happen with Gritt. So we hope there will be a third part. And thank you so much that you have joined this conversation. It was a great pleasure to talking to you.
Thank you so much, and thanks to the audience for watching the film.
Of course, and thanks
out of it.
Yeah, and for listening, and see you soon, and take care.
You too. Ciao.
Ciao.